Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. As my brother said, when I was invited, actually, first of all, I have to appreciate Maulana Hujjatul Islam wal Muslimin, Sayyid of Tawheed al-Razavi, for this generous invitation. It was a great chance for me to be among you and to present this article. I was thinking of what to mention considering the moral formation at the time of relativism. So I was very obsessive with bringing all the points. I didn't want to miss the things that I thought that sharing them would be beneficial. So what I presented is not a kind of academic article. Usually academic articles should revolve around one problem. Actually, my article, if I wanted to write academically, it had to be 4 articles, considering the sex orientation, sex identification, development of sex and different steps of that in the modern time. And the other one, actually, what they call it, mental adultery or sexual fantasy, which are the sort of common issues at the modern time. And I was very short for time. The article I sent, I didn't have a chance to review it, so there might be some punctuation, some mistyping even. So if it was about to be sent out, I have to go through it again, then they can send it out. So without wasting any more time, I would like to go to how the issue was to be put. In this regard, I want to talk about the problem of distancing from reality in the modern time and its solutions from Islamic perspective, of course. I came to suggest some points that could help. One of them is what we have it in Quran, is one of the important principles in Islamic teachings, and it is usually famous as enjoining to goodness and prohibiting evil. But to put it in an exact terming, in Arabic we call it al-amr bil-ma'ruf wal-nahy anil munkar. Ma'ruf is something that everybody knows it is good. Ma'ruf is something that its goodness is known to all. So majority of people, when you talk to them, they agree that that is something good. For example, generosity. If you say that person is generous, majority of people understand it in a positive way. So this is ma'ruf, means that it is known to be good. Munkar is something which is known to be evil. So when they translate it as enjoining to good and prohibiting evil is not exact translation. Bidding and commanding to what is known to be good and prohibiting from something which is known to be evil. It means that first you have to make it known to the public. People should come to know about it. When people come to know about it, like for example, fastening seatbelt. There was a time that people, if you told them to fasten seatbelt, they might not accept from you. But after a while, when you talk to them and you see the effects of it, how it can help people to protect lives in accidents, then it becomes ma'ruf. When it is known that is helpful, then it is easy to command people, to make it a law. It's a must. Now you have to fasten seatbelt. People will accept it. People will buy it. So Quran says that one of the conditions of a good nation, best nation, which is the best nation, one of the qualities is that they command to what is known to be good. They make the good to be known, then they command to it. They make the evil to be known, then they prohibit it. So to do that, you should go through a kind of epistemological process. Means that you have to teach people. And teaching, there might be some different levels. Some of these teachings should be at academic level. Some of them for lay people, for grassroots. Anyhow, things should be clarified. So when we want to make things to be known as good or evil, it means that we believe there are things which are good, there are things which are bad. Then we can know about them. After good and bad exist, we can identify them, then we can teach people about them. Here we come to one of the principles in Islamic understanding, and that is essential goodness and evil. This is one of the foundations of morality in Islam that can reject relativism. We divide good and evil in three categories. First of all, the first category are good and bad, which are essential. Goodness and badness is essential to them. We have two things, two general concepts which are essentially good and essentially bad: justice and injustice. Justice is essentially good. Oppression or injustice is essentially evil. You cannot find any example of injustice or oppression that is good. You cannot find any example of justice which is evil. If you think that there is a case that justice was evil, it's not justice. You make a mistake in application of justice. These are essential, and the best proof for that is the conscious-based nature of man that says things, this justice and injustice, to be essentially good and evil. There are things that we call in Arabic al-husn wal-qubh iqtizai, means that they are not essentially good, but they have this demanding nature for goodness. Like telling truth. Telling truth has demanding nature of goodness. Means that in 99% of cases, telling truth might be good. But there might be cases that telling truth might be evil. Somebody has a gun looking for a person, and I know where the person is. He asks me, where is he? If I tell the truth, he's going to kill the person. Here, if I tell the truth, that person is going to be killed. Here, telling truth, according to us, is evil. Why? Because it is an example, an application of injustice. Truth here becomes injustice. But in 99% of other cases, truth is good. Sometimes lying is good, then I can save a life by that. Then if I tell the truth, while I have to lie and save a person, then I have done injustice. And there are cases that they are neutral. They are not good, they're not bad in their essence. Like walking. If I am walking to help a person, this walking is good. If I am walking to do something evil, it is bad. If I am walking in an idle way, it's neutral, it's not good, it's not bad. So not differentiating between these three categories can put us in the trap of relativism. To say that, we see sometimes truth is good, sometimes it is bad. Action like beating sometimes might be good, sometimes might be bad, sometimes might be neutral. So there is relativity of goodness and evil. But the way that we define and classify things, we believe that things will not be confused. So essentially, we believe that we can define and we can point to good and evil. And the problem began with the specific schools of thought that you know better than me, that there was the idea, long discussion of subjectivity or objectivity of truth and how we can define and find the truth. He had thinkers like David Hume with the skepticism that he had. The turning point here is Emmanuel Kant. When he came with the idea that he called it his own Copernican revolution in philosophy. And he said that to find the truth, you don't need to find a correspondent for it in the external world. What is in my mind is the truth. So the way that you find the truth, then that is the truth according to you. This itself was one of the important events that take place in making and giving essentiality to subjectivism. That the truth and reality is in my mind. And when people can differ in their minds, it means that this was another kind of skepticism. He wanted to solve the problem of skepticism, but this itself was a kind of skepticism. So there were so many other schools to come to existence that they made the mental understanding to be essential. They gave the priority to what you understand, and when it comes with existentialism, which is based on this philosophy. You know, before that, in Aristotelian philosophy, essence or quiddity, in Arabic we call it mahiyya, it was prior to existence. Means that we had the human as thinking animal. So I knew that my non-born child is going to be a thinking animal. And my grandchild, my great-grandchild, all will have the quiddity, essence, mahiyya, of thinking animal. What happened in existentialism, they said that no, existent is prior to essence. It means that you don't have any essence, you don't have any quiddity before coming to existence. So each person has its own specific essence, mahiyya, and quiddity after coming to existence. And it meant that I am something different from you. So everybody is going to be specific for himself. That's why in existentialism, they didn't talk about anthropology. They talk about knowing your own self. So you see, usually they don't discuss universal philosophical concepts. They usually write novels. And this is a very important point, because in novels you are reading story life of a person, single individual. And this single individual, they try to bring their own philosophy in that single individual's life. And when there is no commonality between humans, actually this is one of the paradoxical issues with them, that from one perspective they deny the common sense among the humans, everyone is unique to himself. On the other side, they have general concepts like what Sartre said, that man is condemned to freedom. Man is condemned to be free. So this is a universal concept. Anyhow, regardless of that, what happened was that then man was a kind of specific to himself. And it means that my own mentality is mine, yours is yours. So you cannot impose your understanding on me, I cannot impose it on you. And everybody will make his own world. You see, what happens is that there will be no role models for human being. Because I am a single world, a single universe inside myself. So you have to make your own humanity. And here, it's so terrifying that Sartre himself, he's an example of atheist existential philosopher. When he comes to his novels, you see that he writes the book No Sea. The novel is about the person is about to write about one of the influential figures in French Revolution. Then, according to him, actually this is a kind of historical philosophy, existential philosophy that Jean-Paul Sartre is writing there. So he says that everything is to make me to vomit. The life is disgusting. The life that I have to make it myself. When we believe in a religion, when we believe in what lots of scholars, they have piled up the knowledge that you can benefit from. And you can make your humanity based on the wisdom of millions of thinkers and during the history, rather than focusing on what you can achieve yourself. So this making individualism an individualistic understanding, again, made man to go towards, living in different separate islands. I am for myself, I have nothing to do with you, you have nothing to do with me. And then they came with the idea of freedom, that freedom of individual is the most important priority. How much time? 50. So there is the concept of freedom. The individual freedom is the most important priority. Nobody can stop it. No group, no society can go against the freedom of individuals. So they came with the idea of negative freedom. Nobody can push others to do something. While we had positive freedom in Islam. In positive freedom, you must do some do's and don'ts. There are some obligations you follow. At the end, you get a kind of freedom. So actually, it is freedom for. In negative freedom, what they have is negative freedom from. Means that nobody is going to push you, nobody is going to put pressure on you. When there is no external pressure on you, then you are free. Quran says, the verse 157 of chapter 7, the Prophet bids them to do what is ma'roof, known to be good, and forbids them from what is munkar, evil, makes lawful to them all the good things, and forbids them from all vicious things, and relieves them of their burdens and the shackles that were upon them. This is positive freedom. There are some do's and don'ts. At the end, you will be free. You will be free inside. But in existential freedom, the idea, and also in liberalism, it is negative freedom, means that nobody's going to push you to do something. But actually, they push you indirectly. And this is what's happening in the modern time. They talk about freedom, but the people are not free. They say free elections, people are free to choose, but you have to choose either a candidate from Republicans or Democrats. So you are limited to this. You cannot vote to a person which is not whether inside this or that. To a third party, you cannot do that. They say you are free to speak. They are free to speak. Even they give right to minorities to say whatever they want to say. But you as a majority, they make a kind of environment that you don't dare to speak. You don't dare to just say your own view. They make it so expensive that you cannot speak. And they say, yeah, it's freedom of speech. When they want to promote something, the trend goes in billions on Twitter, Facebook. When they don't want something, maybe around the world, 1,000 people are going to watch it. And it's freedom. This is negative freedom. So these are the tools that with these things, they manage us. There are also other points that I am short for time. I have to just refer very briefly. One of the important things that is of vital importance is the study of the dark aspects of the life of those influential intellectuals in formation of these modern events in the new world that we are living in. Those people who were influential, to know them, to study about them, and to see what they did. For example, when it comes to this kind of, what do you call it, a sexual revolution that we had, you have to refer to the name of Alfred Kinsey. This American scientist. He used to study insects. Then all of a sudden he became interested in sexology. He is known as the founder of sexology in America. He was supported by Rockefellers, and Rockefellers made him famous. There is a movie made about him in 2004, you can watch it. Even in the movie, which is kind of supportive to him, you will see how much vice is in this person. The guy himself is a sick person. You know, without knowing the personalities, you may be fooled that he's a scientist. What is he's saying is a scientific idea. But when you study their lives, you see that this person is a sick person. He used to have so much corruption in his personal life. Even in the movie. As I said, it's a supportive, but it is not, those issues are mentioned. But having relation with his male colleagues, colleagues with his wife, colleagues with the wives of the other colleagues with these people, with the kids, pedophiles, documenting the experience of pedophiles and then introducing them as science and making his sick mentality as the foundation of normalization of what we call it today as this sexual freedom and these things. In his research, he says that he did at that time, he published some books in 1950s. Then, actually, these books are the basis of the sexual revolution in the West. He says that by following what I'm saying, American society will see the social-sexual paradise. Social-sexual paradise will be here. Then he mentions things that I cannot mention. Of course, you will forgive me for that. In Islam, we say, La haya afeddin, there is no shame in learning. He says, all orgasms are equal, whether between husband and wife, boy and dog, man and boy, girl and baby, since there is no such thing as abnormality and normality. Without any scientific proof for this. So these are the sick mentality which is producing these things. As the aim of orgasm, the more orgasms from any outlet at the earliest age, the healthier the person. At the earlier age. And the courage encourages that, no, father and the kid, why not? Even he encourages one of the doctors working with him in Germany, and he has the experience, the doctor, with his own child, 11-year-old child. Early masturbation is critical for sexual, physical, and emotional health. It can never be excessive or pathological. Sexual taboos and sex status are routinely broken, so they should be eliminated. That includes laws against rape and child rape, unless serious force is used and serious harm is proven, and so many other nonsenses I don't want to read. This guy, he himself was a Sikh, he abused some hundreds of kids. After the World War, Second World War, lots of the kids from Poland, from Germany, this guy and his people, they abused under the guise of science. And the ideas of this sick person became the foundation of sexual revolution. Another person which is very important to be known actually and to study about, I said this person was talking about social-sexual paradise in America. After practicing what this guy said in America and normalization of all those issues, there is another scholar. I didn't find any person as important as this person at the modern time. Dr. Brett Coher. Dr. Brett Coher, he's from London. You know, he has worked on 22,000 cases. He's a psychologist. Within more than 20 years, he has worked on more than 22,000 people from America and Britain. And the findings are terrifying. He has a book, Who's Been Sleeping in Your Head? You can find it on the net. Who is been sleeping in your head? He says that according to what he's working on mental sex. And he says that this is what Americans and British society is suffering from. The findings are terrifying. He says that he was talking about the paradise, and he says, according to my findings, millions of people in this book, he says millions of people in America and in Britain, they do masturbation instead of doing any sexual relation. Because of what has happened in these years, they are in a kind of psychological despair. And he says that among those that I interviewed, big majority of them, they have fantasy when they are in bed with their wives. That's why they usually turn off the lights. And even, he says, in some cases, even they tape the mouth of the partner not to hear her voice, so better they can do imagination and fantasy. And in Islamic understanding of us, this is very destructive. To have such a fantasy of somebody else. You know, we believe that the state that you have at that moment will affect the child which is being to be formed. Spiritually, it has impact on it. We have a hadith from our Prophet talking about his daughter, Lady Fatima Zahra, salamullah alayha. The Prophet says, when he talks about his daughter, he says, Hiya thamaratu fuadi. He says, Fatima is the fruit of my heart. It means that your heart has fruits, has production. The production of your heart is your child. If you have a dirty heart, from this dirty heart, the pure child cannot be formed. And such a great, pure lady is the fruit of such pure mentality, like the Prophet. In Quran, Allah, when He talks in two places, when He talks about Mary, Salamullah alayha, Allah says, التي أحسنت فرجها فنفخنا فيه من روحنا. Mary purified herself, then we blew our soul into her. So it's not a chance out of accident that Mary is going to be the mother of Jesus. Allah says because she was the purest heart, that purest heart can carry Jesus. That pure existence. And when big majority are going to have such nonsense in their imagination, then see what's going to happen with the coming generation. All rotten apples will be there. What goodness is going to be come out of this new generation with that mentality, with that background? So one of the very important things, according to Islamic understanding, is to have your imagination, your khiyal, free and pure. And this is what this modern culture is against. According to our philosophers like Avicenna and Farabi, actually the dreams that you have, the dreams are the best proof of the divine nature, fitra in you. Actually, the dreams that you have is the best criteria of what kind of human being you are. We do good things, but these good things should have fruit, should have impact on us. How can you see the impact? It's in your dreams. Your dreams are the first level. It's a cinema of what you have done, what you have collected in your imagination in the daytime. Those people who have pure hearts, they have a good daily life, they have good dreams. The reflection of the mentality shows itself in their dreams. One of our scholars, he says that once I had a dream that I met that person, he was a very nice person. He said that I had a dream that in my dream I saw that a wolf is attacking my brother. And my brother was covered in blood. Then I asked my teacher that I had such a dream. And I'm worried about my brother. That the scholar told me that, don't worry, it's not about your brother, it's about yourself. Because our hadith says that your brother is your faith. And the wolf is shaitan. Your brother being attacked by a wolf means that your faith is in danger. And the brother was bloody, it means that there are ways that shaitan is overcoming you. So your dream, when it is a good dream, when it is a pure khiyal, it can have a reflection. It can be a guidance to you. It could be a criterion of what kind of person are you. Quran says if your khiyal, if your mind is dirty, then instead you will have adghasu ahlam, nonsenses. Nonsenses. Like lots of dreams that we have from here and there. There is no head and tail in what we see. Because in the daily life, our khiyal is like a rambler, a stray dog, from here to there. But a pure person, their imagination, their khiyal, our mystics, our urafa, they say that it's like a hunting dog. You send the hunting dog to catch a duck, a rabbit goes and comes. The pure khiyals is like this. They can catch for you the great, because our khiyal imagination is the realm between the world of truth, reality, and the world of physical senses. It gives picture to very difficult concepts that we may discuss it in philosophy, our khiyal gives picture to them, so it will be better understood and easily understandable for us. So, another point that we should bear in mind, I'm short for time actually. I knew that I will not cover all the article, but inshallah, I hope that when it is completed, it will be sent out and you will see it, and I will be happy to receive any correction from your excellencies. I will benefit from your knowledge. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.